kind of place you can really walk in. Now, as a member of the press, I would have to get credentialed ahead of time. Other people have been able to kind of slip in as guests, or of members, I should say, at Mar-a-Lago. But it doesn't, and it didn't strike me as a place where you could just kind of wander around and look around willy-nilly without someone asking you what's going on.
That's interesting, Mark, because we all remember the story in 2019 of the suspected Chinese spy who had something like she was discovered at Mar-a-Lago. She had something like 9 flash drives. She had 4 cell phones. She couldn't explain why she was carrying a hard drive with her. So I don't think that we knew that it had that level of security.
Right. Well, I wasn't there for that. But, you know, what I can say is in talking to the Trump campaign about this, and prior to it being a campaign, his advisors and some of his attorneys, one of the arguments that they've made about Mar-a-Lago, understand this is their argument, is that it was designated as a SCIF, as a secure facility for the time he was president. Remember, actually on the Mar-a-Lago patio, he had a meeting with Japan's prime minister at one point to discuss some sort of international crisis. So there's been a lot of history that's unfolded there since Donald Trump has been president and while he's been a presidential candidate. But for the period of time I was there, as I said, you know, I didn't really have a lot of free movement. But then again, I'm not a member. I'm not a guest of a member. I'm a member of the press, so the rules are a little different for us.
Yes, understood. Okay, Elie. So prosecutors find some of this curious. What would they have to prove? What would they have to do, I guess, in order to prove that there was sabotage with this pool incident?
Yeah, so in order for this to mean anything to prosecutors, they have to prove this was intentional as opposed to an accident. I would start with a bunch of questions that I have, and maybe these are more from my experience with pools than as a prosecutor, right? Like, how often are they draining this pool? Was this scheduled or not scheduled maintenance? How did it end up that usually, like pool engineering, it would drain away from sensitive areas and not into areas where servers are? And what you're also looking for is any sort of testimony or statement showing that somebody said, hey, get down there, let the pool loose, let's see where it goes, that kind of thing. And that's why they seized the phones, which they're surely analyzing.